Okay, next tab. So we've gone through overview, allocations, contact information, literacy leadership team, and program information. Now we're at the money section, the budget. The first one you'll need to fill out. So as you can see, sorry, let's go back. So for the budget section, you have 5 subtabs for this one. I apologize in advance. But the first one you'll fill out is the budget narrative. Just so you know, for the budget narrative, each question requires an answer. So these first 3 questions are for each age band. So if you're not applying for that age band, you can just type not applicable. If you're struggling with the character count for the ones you are applying for, again, please feel free to use that optional supplementary information form. This may become especially handy for ESUs, for example, in order to give us a better idea of what is for where if you're applying on behalf of a large consortium. Again, up to you if you want to use that document. This narrative is just for year 1 funds. We will ask for a new narrative for year 2 funds when or if you are awarded, and that will be required October this year. So each new year for the grant over the 5 years, we'll ask for a new budget narrative and budget detail. So again, for your application, we're just looking for your year 1 narrative. We will also need to know on this tab if you are budgeting for indirect cost. You'll mark yes or no here. And you either always take indirect or never take indirect. If you're not sure, talk to someone within your district or entity, and someone will know. One of your finance people will know. We can look into it too, but you either always take it or never take it. And then if you say yes, we will continue to see the indirects included in the budget detail, budget summary, and program budget summary. So there's consistency across your application. The last question is a confirmation statement that your CLSD spending adheres to the supplement, not supplant. And the only answer I should see there is yes. If it says no, well, we have a problem. I'll have a lot more questions, but I should only see yes as an answer for that. Next subtab, budget detail. Again, this is only for the year 1 funds. Depending on the tier you qualify for, you will be budgeting for either $65,000, $259,000, or $440,000. This will go hand in hand with your year 1 budget narrative. So you'll see that it's broken into age bands. Depending on what age bands you applied for in the program information tab, you should only see those age bands on the budget detail tab. Your activities will fit into 8 function codes. This helps us gather data on what activities are being funded by the CLSD grant for reporting purposes. Do your best in this section. If you're unsure where a cost fits, I'm happy to steer you in the right direction. Let's say that you thought it was one function code, but later we discover it's a different function code. No big deal. Once we've determined our awardees, I will meet with each awardee one-on-one, and we will take the time to finalize the budget so we can make the adjustments as necessary. So just do your best. Don't stress. Again, don't forget to include your indirect costs in the box on the bottom right if you're choosing to include them. I don't think you can see it on this because I think my face is covering the recording, but when you have the application open in front of you, you should see that little box there. So if you're taking indirect, include your indirect. Don't forget to press save. Please press save. While I was in the testing site, I often forgot to press save, and I've had to redo my budget more times than I care to share. If you don't press save, it won't save. Therefore, you do it again. So press save, please. Okay, so you've completed your budget detail. and it's fit into all the different function code tabs, and you have included or haven't included your indirect. One great way you'll be able to tell if you completed it the right way and you have the right amount is by the next tab, which is the budget summary tab. You don't enter any information into this tab. This is just going to calculate everything that you put into the budget detail. So like I said, this is kind of where you can double check. If you did not press save on your budget detail, it'll be blank. But if you did press save, it will pull that information over and it'll give you a total for all age bands. And then you can see it broken down. You see by the activity or the function code, and then the salaries, benefits, supplies, all that. You'll kind of see a full breakdown for all the age bands and then your total. And that's kind of your double check to make sure you met that tier amount that you're supposed to. So you don't fill anything on this tab. It's all auto-populated. I guess I should maybe remind you again, it's those allocation amounts will either be 65,000, 259,000, or 440,000, depending on your tier, with or without the indirects. Okay. The operational equipment tab. This tab is built into the system. I would not expect anyone to fill it out. We should not see any purchases of operational equipment for this grant. However, if you do decide to use this, prior approval will be required. So you'll need to contact the nde.clsd@nebraska.gov email, and we can discuss this tab prior to your application submission. So you will need written approval before we should see this tab in here. But I just plan on not seeing it. Okay, we are on our final budget sub-tab. This is the program budget summary. Please be mindful that this tab is broken into age bands. So only fill out the age band that you're applying for. So the year one on the far left, budget summary must match your year one budget detail. So if those salaries, benefits, professional and technical services, if those totals do not match your budget detail, it will error out. It will tell you. It will tell you which ones are wrong. So you'll have the opportunity to fix it. But just keep that in mind when you're filling it out. If you want to save yourself some time, just be double checking that the numbers are the same. Otherwise, you won't be able to submit it. For years 2 through 5, these will just be estimates at this stage for the program budget summary. The budget narratives and budget detail for those years will be requested annually. And year 2 is boom, October 2025. So that'll be coming up quick. So again, just for those years 2 through 5, just give us an estimate of what you believe you're going to spend. And then we'll get a more detailed budget narrative and budget detail each October for each year. This summary, I just want to highlight, is essential for us. This is what we're going to be using as an agency to fulfill that 15-40-40 requirement. So that's why we need to know what the spend looks like per age band per year to ensure that we are going to fulfill that requirement of the grant. Again, they're estimates, and we will do that more detailed budget narrative and budget function code every October. And we'll talk about that more with our awarded grantees on what that process looks like later on this year. If you're having any issues or any questions about this, again, we can schedule a meeting and I can help you with the GMS application itself and navigating it. Again, I can't tell you if this amount is better than this amount, but I'm happy to help you with the technical side of GMS. I also want to highlight, as far as the budget goes, you have years 1 through 5. We're asking for that detail and narrative for each year as the money comes in. Carryover funds are allowed. So if you have leftover spend, which we are anticipating for year one, I think year one is only, a month and a half long. You can carry over those funds from year one to year two. So the awarded grantees will submit kind of a final expenditure report for their year one. At September 30th will be the end of year one. So you'll let us know what your final expenses were for that period. And then whatever's left over will be carried over into year two and on October 1st. So you're kind of getting two large allocations of money back to back. But we also know that there's a lot of spend that happens early on in the grant. So we're looking forward to you guys having those funds to get started and get the right materials and processes in place to help us reach those goals long term. So you'll have 2 years of money right away with that carryover option from year to year. Okay, so now we have the GEPA tab. This is a federal requirement for new grant awards. All applicants must provide this information in their application to address this provision in order to receive funding. This area is not going to be scored, but it must be completed in order to submit the application for scoring. The next tab is the Assurances tab. Please take time to carefully review each section under the Assurances tab as they outline the terms and conditions associated with this application. To be eligible for scoring, you must agree to all listed assurances. While you're not legally required to agree, failure to do so may result in your application being disqualified from consideration. And again, this is going to be that authorized representative, the one that's named in the contact information. They're the only one that can approve the assurances and then submit the application. But others can work in there, answer the program information questions and all that. All right. You can skip the amendment description tab. That tab may be used later if you're awarded the grant, which means we've finally made it to the submission tab. You've completed all of your application. We hope. The first thing you want to do is run a consistency check. If you have areas of the application that still need to be completed, the system will let you know and you will be required to fix it prior to your submission. So you can just keep running that consistency tab. And then once it gives you the thumbs up, a little box will pop up that says submit. And then we'll be notified that your application is in. So it's just keep hitting the consistency until you get the thumbs up and hit submit. After that, sadly, you just have to wait until August 11th. We'll be doing our evaluations, and then we'll post the intent to award, which will have the list of the grantees on that August 11th date.